make art in a world that's falling apart. In a world where everything sucks and keeps getting worse and uglier and more vicious, and it's just really bad. So where do we go from this spot that we find ourselves in? Do we withdraw into ourselves, like me down here in the basement, and rave on like a crazy old man? I say yes. So those of you who have watched Vegematic for a while might realize that YouTube isn't particularly enamored with him. I am considered a legacy channel at this point, at least in my own mind, because over 10 years the Vegematic channel has strove and striven to provide you with the finest entertainment possible that is made on a shoestring in a basement in London, Ontario, Canada, otherwise known as the armpit of Canada. Why, you say? The armpit? Well, if you look at Canada, we're right down there. We're probably further south than a lot of Mordor. I call America Mordor because it's cute, you know. But going on and on is just part of my personality. And somebody left me a comment, and it was great. It was like, I kept saying, I'm not consistent in my channel. I'm not putting it out there every week on the same day or every day and going crazy that way. I didn't do that, and therefore my channel refuses to hit 1,000 subscribers. Doesn't matter what I try, doesn't matter who my friends are, how many views I get, how many comments in the comments, how many likes, how many dislikes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking move. And why is that? Because I can't compete. I can't compete with, like, say, the mainstream big budget channels that just kind of, you know what pisses me off? There's a channel I watch occasionally, Glenn Kirshner. Now this guy's a lawyer, and he's got the perfect gig, because he stands in front of his camera. He sits in this office and he looks all very lawyer-like and everything, and he says, Trump is gonna be indicted. And this goes on. I mean, of course, everybody knows he's never going to be indicted, because that's not how things work in America. So he just goes on and on and on and on and on, and he has this little thing. He says, "Justice matters." And this guy's a former federal prosecutor or whatever. And here's a really cool part. You can order merch from him so he can make more money. I mean, I would imagine that a federal prosecutor makes a pretty good buck, a lot more than the rubes who watch him, hoping that the orange slime bag will be led away in handcuffs. Now, this is a popular fantasy that Americans seem to glom onto without thinking that that's not the way things work. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about all the explosions going on in Eastern Europe. There's big ones, there's small ones, there's huge ones, there's night, like it's like a big fireworks show. And of course, we see the death and destruction and the misery, and we kind of get immune to it because it's like, well, Netflix is worse than that. You want to see horror? Just watch a Netflix show, for God's sakes. And of course, down in the States, the turtle is going crazy because a black woman that's eminently qualified to serve on the Supreme Court is just not qualified as much as Kavanaugh or Amy Comey. Buttfuck, I don't know. And you know, there are some things that I'm deeply ashamed about being Canadian for. And one of them is somehow I heard that Ted Cruz was at one time Canadian, but we send all our crap to you. We definitely send what we don't want here. I mean, that's how you got Justin Bieber. That's how you got Celine Dion, and you know, we just don't want them, so we send them south. And after what happens after that is not important, I suppose, up here in the frozen white wasteland of North America, the proud Republic of Kanakistan. And you know, growing up as a kid in the 60s in Kanakistan, in Montreal, which was Le Kanakistan for you, it was, I envied Americans, because all the cool cereals that they advertised on the cartoons were from the States. And we always got these comic books with ads, but you know, you couldn't order, you couldn't get the X-ray specs because it was in Canada and you'd have to pay duty on them, and they never worked anyway from what I understand, but still, I was deprived as a child. After 10 years in the tubular universe, I've come to the conclusion that why do I do this? I certainly have never made a single penny off of doing this fabulous work for you. I do it from here, or is it here? Somewhere where inside me that's not what it used to be. But I do this for you. Why do I keep doing it after all these years, except for my innate masochism? Well, that's a good question. I think my wife could answer that, because when I start saying something, she says, you know, Chris, why don't you go downstairs? I bet you your audience would love to hear you ranting. And you know, she's right. And after 40-something years together, I guess she just, you know, she's heard it all, right? And so she sends me down here and forces me onto YouTube. And it's all your fault. It's your fault, and it's your fault, and it's your fault. Oh, by the way, did I say follow me on Twitter? If you have no life and you're bored and you want to just hang around and look at Twitter, hey, I can give you lots of quality thoughts once in a while on Twitter. So it's Vegematic1. Now the reason it's 1 was that I had Vegematic, and then I went off Twitter. I got bored with it. And then later on I went, well, maybe Twitter will get me an extra view or two on YouTube. So I started up an account, but they wouldn't give me my own name, Vegematic, back. I had to be Vegematic1. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, be sure to type the letter 1 after hashtag Vegematic. And you can have my informed opinions all day if you want. Well, maybe not all day, but once in a while. And you can read them, and you can get excited, and you can argue with me and insult me, because that's all I get is insults. And no show would be complete without me going down memory lane, because that's all I got these days. Face it, you know, there's this much behind me and I don't know, not very much in front of me. So I remember my days as a hitchhiker across America. I was in Berkeley, California, 1976, and hitchhiking home to Montreal. And the Olympics were going on in Montreal, so I figured I drew a little Olympic symbol and said, Montreal. I have no interest in the Olympics, nor did I have any interest in the Montreal Olympics, but it got me some rides. Anyway, this really old 65 Valiant. Yeah, Valiant. You remember those? You old folks will remember a Valiant. This lady stops and picks up. I'd been hitchhiking with this fellow from Albany, and he was heading in the same direction as me. So this rather attractive young woman pulls up in this Valiant, and there's a Hare Krishna poster on the side of it, and there's like dingle balls all around it, and it's like, it smells like patchouli and everything. And you get in there, and we're both looking at each other going, okay, she's cute. She said, I'm going, I don't know, somewhere east. So we said, okay, we'll ride with you. Which was, in retrospect, a bit of a mistake because we made it into the middle of the desert in Nevada, and it broke down at a rest area, thankfully, so we weren't stranded somewhere and God knows where. And so we started hitchhiking, the three of us. Now, meanwhile, this young lady was starting to act a little bit weird. Of course, she was upset because the Hare Krishnas that she bought this car off of had assured her that it had Krishna's, Lord Krishna's blessing on it, and it would get you cross country fine. Unfortunately, the 65 Valiant did not agree with that prognosis. So anyway, this lady was getting weirder and weirder, and we were hitchhiking, and we got in the back of this pickup truck, and she started to go like all psycho and trying to jump out of the back of the pickup truck. We managed to prevent that, so we had gone from competing for her attention to going, oh my God, this woman is a complete psycho. Somehow we split up and she went to Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know why Phoenix, but we put her on a bus and she said she had parents there, and it was like, okay, get the hell out of here. I can't deal with this. So anyway, that was my short hitchhiking story from the 70s, and I had like lots of weird adventures in America, and I love America. I loved America in the 70s. It kind of sucks now. That's about it for tonight, boys and girls. I hope you've enjoyed this Vegematic rant. Occasionally, I let go, and I try really hard not to let go, but I do, and my wife always sends me downstairs to do these things, and please help my wife out, subscribe, help me out, help an old man die happy. Make him get to 1,000 subscribers after 10 years. God knows it's not been easy. And I'll be your friend. I'll be your close, dear friend forever if you just hit that subscribe button. So come on. What are you waiting for? Yeah, I thought so. Okay. This is a toast to you, and it's a toast to many more years of irrelevant, crazy, stupid videos on the Vegematic channel. Don't forget, subscribe. You won't regret it.